I am 78 years old now, and the hardest part is not having little money. The hardest part is knowing I once had enough and still ended up here. Last winter, I sat alone at my kitchen table late at night because sleep would not come. The light above the sink was the only one on. Everything else in the apartment was dark and quiet. My bank card had stopped working that afternoon. When I called, they said it was a small problem and would be fixed in a few days. Nothing serious. Still, that night, I opened my wallet and poured the coins onto the table. I lined them up slowly. The sound felt louder than it should have. I counted once, then again. I was thinking about bread, milk, maybe some eggs. I noticed how calm I was, and that frightened me. I used to move money around without looking. I used to sign papers without reading. And there I was, counting coins like it was normal. That was the moment I stopped pretending my life had simply worked out. It did not hurt because I had little money. It hurt because I could finally see how carefully I had wasted the years when I had more than enough. When I was young, money never felt heavy. I grew up in a small, steady home. My father worked every day except Sunday. My mother wasted nothing. Shoes were worn until they could not be fixed. Food was shared evenly. Bills were paid quietly. There was no fear in that house, only discipline. I did not understand then how rare that was. My first job came early. I remember holding my first paycheck and feeling taller somehow. It meant freedom. I could buy my own clothes. I could eat where I wanted. I spent it quickly. Saving felt unnecessary. Life was moving forward, and I believed money would always keep up. In my 20s, every raise felt like proof that I was becoming someone. I never asked what I was becoming. I rented places nicer than I needed. I bought newer things instead of fixing old ones. I told myself comfort was the reward for hard work. I never asked what that comfort was costing me later. I married while I was still learning how to live. We were both working, both tired, and quietly hopeful. We talked about the future in soft, unclear ways. We said, one day often. One day we would save. One day we would slow down. One day never asked us to act now. Money became something we reacted to, not something we guided. If something broke, we replaced it. If we felt bored, we spent a little. If we felt stressed, we spent a little more. It felt harmless. Debt entered our lives politely, a card for emergencies, another for convenience. Payments became normal. I stopped looking at totals. I only checked whether we could manage the next month. Our days settled into routine. Wake up early, coffee that tasted the same every morning. A rushed goodbye at the door. Work that filled hours but left little memory. Lunch eaten quickly, often alone. Evenings in front of the television. We spoke less, not from anger, but from exhaustion. Sleep came easily. Thinking did not. When our children were born, my world narrowed. Love came with fear attached. I thought about money before I thought about moments. I worked longer hours. I took extra shifts. I told myself I was being responsible. I missed small things without noticing. First steps I heard about later. School events I arrived late to. I brought gifts instead. Toys, clothes, things I believed could replace my time. Years passed without asking permission. Birthdays came faster. Holidays felt shorter. I remember sitting at the table during family meals while my mind was elsewhere, counting numbers. I smiled. I nodded. I was present, but not truly there. My wife tried to talk about saving, about putting something aside for emergencies, for old age. I listened. I agreed. I delayed. I said next year would be better. Next year always felt close enough to ignore. We were not reckless in big ways. That is what makes this hard to accept now. We were careless in small ways, every single day. Eating out when cooking would have been fine. Buying new instead of repairing. Choosing comfort again and again because it felt harmless. By the time I noticed how fast the years were moving, our habits were already fixed. My parents grew older. Their voices softened. Their house felt smaller. I visited, but I was always watching the clock. Work was always waiting. Then one morning, in my early 50s, everything changed without warning. I was called into a meeting. The words were calm, polite, final. The job was gone. I walked out carrying a box of papers and old photographs. I sat in my car for a long time, holding the steering wheel, unsure where to go. I drove home slowly. My wife listened quietly as I told her. She did not blame me. That silence stayed with me longer than any argument could have. After that day, life did not break apart all at once. That is something people do not tell you. When things truly go wrong, they often do it quietly. We told ourselves it was temporary. That word became a shelter. Temporary meant we did not have to panic. Temporary meant we did not have to change much. We used the small savings we had, the money meant for later years. I told myself I would replace it soon. When it was gone, we leaned on credit again, just to get through the months. I signed papers I barely read, the same way I always had. I found another job eventually. It paid less, it asked more. I accepted it without hesitation because fear had replaced confidence. I was no longer choosing work. I was holding on to it. I left early. I came home late. I carried worry into the house and set it down quietly, hoping it would not spread. The house felt different after that, not damaged, just heavier. Conversations became practical. What could wait? What could be fixed later? What we could ignore for now? We stopped talking about long plans. Talking about the future felt risky. The children grew while we were distracted. One day they needed help with homework. Then, suddenly, they were packing boxes. There was no moment when I realized they were leaving for good. It happened slowly. Their rooms emptied. The noise faded. Meals grew quieter. We stopped setting extra places at the table without ever discussing it. My wife and I sat together most evenings, but we shared space more than time. We were not angry. We were worn down. Years of small financial pressure had taken something from us that we never named. I still believed I would fix everything later. That belief kept me calm and kept me stuck. Then something happened that I did not notice right away. I stopped enjoying things I once liked. Food tasted flat. Weekends felt short before they even began. Rest did not restore me. I told myself this was normal. I told myself everyone felt this way as they aged. My body began to slow. Mornings took longer. Stairs asked more of me. I ignored it. There was always something more urgent than my health. Bills, work, responsibilities that never seemed to end. Money worries followed me into sleep and waited for me when I woke. I did not speak about them. Worry feels manageable when you keep it quiet. I believed that if I did not say it out loud, it might stay under control. Then my wife became ill. At first it was small things, appointments that came closer together, medications that multiplied, waiting rooms that felt endless. I sat beside her and held her hand while listening to instructions and numbers. In those rooms, money stopped being something distant. It became fear. Bills arrived steadily. Insurance covered some things and refused others without explanation. I watched what little safety we had disappear one payment at a time. I felt ashamed thinking about money while she was suffering, but I could not stop. I had trained myself for decades to think that way. Here is the part that still hurts to admit. I would have traded every dollar I ever earned for more time with her. And yet, I had spent most of my life trading time for money without realizing it. She passed away on a calm morning. There were no dramatic final words, just a stillness where her breathing used to be. After that, the house felt both larger and emptier. I moved through rooms slowly, unsure where to sit. I stopped cooking full meals. I ate what was easy because effort felt heavy. Money changed again. It was no longer about plans or comfort. It was about surviving quietly. I sold things without telling anyone. Items that once felt important left the house without ceremony. I adjusted habits without speaking about them. I learned which days the store discounted bread. I learned how little I could live on. Now my days are slow and predictable. I wake up early because my body remembers routine. Breakfast is simple. Sometimes I sit in silence longer than I mean to. Sometimes I forget to turn on the radio just to hear another voice. I walk instead of drive. I count carefully before buying anything. Not because I'm afraid, but because mistakes are harder to recover from now. The regret does not arrive loudly. It comes in the evening and sits beside me. It reminds me of how often I chose comfort over care, how often I believed tomorrow would repair what I ignored today. I thought money would always be there. I did not understand that time leaves first. I do not tell this story to teach or to warn loudly. I tell it because it is true. Money is meant to protect your life, not replace it. I learned that only when I had little chance to use it well. If someone came to your mind while listening to this, do not wait. Reach out, sit with them, eat with them, talk slowly. Do not assume you will have more time later. If you have lived something like this, or if this reminded you of someone, you can share your story in the comments. And if you want to hear more quiet stories like mine, you can subscribe. Thank you for listening to an old man finally say the things he waited too long to understand.